Hi, I'm Ben. Welcome to Unpolished. So I'm here recording in my backyard. I thought this was a great place to shoot because it had lights that were already installed, so I don't have to put lights up for the YouTube video, which is fantastic. I want to start off this video, which is going to be about the very, very subtle, mysterious art of author photos. I want to start off just by talking about three different things, just stuff that's on the horizon, interesting things that have happened to me and will happen to me. So yeah, number one, last weekend, was it last weekend? No, weekend before, I went down to a fantastic little bookstore in Aireys Inlet at the bottom of Victoria. It was a really beautiful place, and they put on a really great event with another author named Brandi, and it was run, curated by Hanny Rayson, and it was just a fantastic event. I've never had such interesting questions from audience members, and we delved really deeply into the themes of the novel, and the food was fantastic. I'd never eaten that type of trout. I'm a country boy. I don't have the most refined palate, so it was a great treat. And if you're ever down near Victoria, even in Melbourne, I heartily recommend driving the extra hour and a half down so you can go and visit Great Escape Books. They're fantastic. Number two, I want to shout out a fellow booktuber. I actually didn't know booktubing was a phrase, but I'm a booktuber, I think, and I want to shout out a fellow booktuber who reviewed my novel To Become a Whale. It was really fantastic. Leah from Hide and Seek, and I'll put a link in the description below. But man, it was such a great review. And again, it's hard to really put into words what it's like when someone else actually understands your novel. And she read a few things into the novel that I hadn't heard any other readers articulate to me. So it was fantastic. And comparisons to any Cormac McCarthy novel, always welcome, Leah. Thank you for that review. Really appreciate it. The third thing is just announced today, I'll be speaking at the Byron Bay Writers Festival, which is a bit of a dream come true. I've been to the Byron Bay Writers Festival as a punter, walked around the grounds there and just soaked in all the creative, writerly, novelly goodness of that place, and it's so cool to be on a couple of panels with some other fantastic authors. It's really cool to be on a variety of different panels. I get to talk about, for instance, how to get young boys reading, which is a topic I'm really interested in. So I can't wait to go down there. It's in August. If you're in the area, or even if you live in Queensland, I really recommend, if you're interested in writing and novels, making the journey down or up or wherever you're from to Byron Bay Writers Festival. And if you can, come and say hi. I'd love to meet you guys. All right, on to the topic of author photos. I wanted to talk about this because I feel like in my early days, I didn't take this that seriously. And so I'll put a photo up now. This was my first author photo. I just took it out of the iPhone photos we'd been taking when we bought my new puppy, Lincoln, who's around here somewhere. I think he's inside, actually. So I didn't really take it very seriously. And I'm also curious about whether or not anyone has ever picked up a book and looked at the photo of the person on the inside of the jacket and thought, well, I think I'll leave it. I don't think that's ever happened. I really hope that hasn't happened. But for some reason, it's something that I find myself getting really anxious about when I'm trying to get the photos right. It's sort of like a book title, which is another YouTube video I want to make, capturing the essence of everything that you are and everything you stand for in one shot. And I didn't quite understand it before, but those shots, if you type my name, Ben Hobson author, into Google now, my first photo shoot shots will come up. And I like those shots, but I didn't quite understand just how often I'd see them. I saw them in newspapers, and you see them all over the place. But anyway, I want to have a look at a few author photos in this video, and I want to have a look at what I try to do with them, and then show you a few of my latest. First of all, I want to make mention of another author, Chris Curry. He wrote this great book called Clancy of the Undertow, which I haven't had a chance to read yet. I am very keen on reading that book. But he has written a blog, which I have read, and this blog features a variety of different author photos. So I'm going to take you through a few of them now. I won't go through all of them, but it's a fantastic blog. Again, I will link below so you can have a read of it yourself. So this is James Patterson. This is the, as Chris Curry calls it, the What Have I Just Eaten? This, I actually don't know which author this is. You probably all laugh at me for that. But this is the bad boy's conscience. You can tell, look at his eyes. It's very piercing, I guess is the word you'd use. The Shapeshifter. Yep. And the Ice Cool. This is Donna Tartt. Donna Tartt, I've only read one of her books, The Goldfinch, but man, she can dress however she likes. She's an amazing author. But this is highlighting something I actually want to discuss, which is what you try to convey in a photo. So Donna Tartt looks really cool because she's got this very distinct look about her, but she also looks really intimidating. I don't know whether or not you guys think that, but when I look at her photo, I don't think I could keep up a conversation with her. She looks very verbose. And I think when you're going for an author photo, at least with me, there's two different things I go for. I go for, one, down to earth, which is probably something I get from my dad, but I don't want to put on a face. I don't want to try to act smarter than I am. I think that would be the equivalent of me wearing a blazer with elbow patches and a pipe and a monocle and have my mustache out to here with little wisps up and say, yes, books. That's not who I am, and it would be a bit of a fake thing to do that for myself. And so I try to be as honestly me as I can possibly be, which is really hard to capture in one shot. And the second thing I try to have in my photos is to appear accidentally super smart. Which sounds really dumb now that I'm saying that to a camera, but that's sort of something that I go for. I try to look like I know what I'm talking about, even if I'm also down to earth and I'm not bragging about it. I guess that makes more sense. Anyway, I'll show you the photos in just a second. What I want to do first is take you on a journey through some of my friends' author photos, because I think they're fantastic, and I'm going to say only nice things about them. This suave-looking gentleman is Robert Lukins, whose book I mentioned in the first video I posted on YouTube. Robert Lukins, I think this is a fantastic photo. I think that you've captured a level of sophistication, a level of brilliance, but at the same time, sort of friendly. Like, I could have a chat with that guy. He's done a good job. This is Sarah Bailey, and Sarah very kindly provided me with this photo that she herself does not like. But Sarah, just look how much of a writer you are in this photo. There's the laptop, Mac, as well, so you know that she's hip. And just, again, the piercing gaze, unwavering, unflinching. It's pretty, I'm intimidated, but I'm also invited to have a conversation. I think it's the best of both worlds. It's Donna Tartt meets Robert Lukins, really. This is Michael Trant. He wrote a book called Ridgeview Station, which you can actually see in this particular author photo. It's actually right there next to his head. And I like that. I like that you can completely connect his face with his book. It's like you don't have to look at two different images. And the other thing about Michael I like is, and this is very sincere, is that he does look very down to earth. Like, you could have a beer with that guy. You could chat with him. You could talk to him about your life story, and he'd listen and he'd laugh. But he can also get behind you and talk about your character and listen to what makes you tick. And I just really like this photo, Michael, so thanks for providing it. All right, on to the finale. I guess it's the finale. My latest author photos. So this was great. We shot with a very old friend who has a photography business in Queensland, Marianne Lister Photography. So I'll put a link to her Instagram. It was fantastic to shoot with someone who I knew and who I trusted. It was really nice, and she made me feel really comfortable. It was still really hard to get by my wedding smile. Just relax. Like, my face seems to scrunch up, and I get all, I don't know what I do. I do something strange, but I get all funny when someone tells me to relax. It's like, ah! And then that wedding smile, you know, the one like, And it's just so hard to get away from that. And she kept on making me laugh and then look at my wife and going outside and giving me a cup of coffee as a prop. And so there are a bunch of different things we did. But hopefully I've nailed my brief, which was down to earth, so like chill and kind and personable, and accidentally super smart. So hopefully I've managed to do both of those. But I have no idea whether I did. You guys be the judge. Let me know. Actually, only let me know if you like them. If you don't like them, you don't need to comment below. That's not something that has to happen. You can just smile to yourself and don't type it, please. Thank you. All right, to end off, I'm going to finish with a couple of book sort of reviews. So, first of all, I'm reading this book. I can't tell. No, it's not in focus. I'm reading this book. This book is The Quest for a Moral Compass, and the subtitle is A Global History of Ethics. I'm reading this book in a way to talk about my next book, which is about this idea of how do we know what's right and wrong. Is objective morality a real thing? Subjective morality, does that work if we're into moral relativism? And all those cool things. So I'm reading this to try to be smart and to actually know what the heck I'm talking about. Research, I guess. Second book, which I managed to finish in Aries Inlet. I mentioned it last video, to give you an idea of how long it takes me to read a book. This is The Yellow House by Emily O'Grady. It won the Vogel this year. Really, really great book. Really stuck with me and something that powered me through until the very conclusion. Very sad ending, and one of those endings, I won't give anything away, but one of those endings that doesn't wrap things up that neatly, but leaves you with that degree of a question that you want answered about the ending. And it's one of my, it's really good. It was a fantastic read. It was a thriller, but it's also a character study, and definitely recommend checking that one out. And the other, from the Piercing Very Rightly with a Mac, Sarah Bailey, is this one, which I just picked up from Great Escape Books when I was in Victoria. And I bought this into the night, and I've been reading it. I'm not very far into it. You can see my bookmark. But really great. It's taking on Gemma Woodstock and her story from the fantastic The Dark Lake. I just feel really bad for Gemma. Like, she keeps making bad decisions, and things don't ever seem to work out that well for her. Which again makes it another interesting question about how you can rise up and do these heroic things, these good things as a detective, and at the same time your life is pretty miserable. So it's a really interesting look into that, and it's really fun to read. I love reading these fun novels that just sort of power you through with the mystery of who done it and what's going to happen. Totally recommend this one so far. I'm very certain that she will stick the landing because she's a brilliant author. So thank you, Sarah, and recommend this one too. That's all from me, guys. Thanks for checking out my videos. If you like, you can like, subscribe, and do all the things that YouTube would have you do so you can hear when another video is released. I'm aiming to go about one every 2 to 3 weeks, just as I can. If you have any questions for me, I'd love to hear some comments about what some of your favorite author photos are or anything like that. Just post them below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.